We're exactly halfway through the season, 19 games done. And Josh, if I'd have told you in August that Aston Villa are currently sat third in the Premier League, just a measly 3 points off the top, what would you have said?
I probably would have laughed, to be honest.
I hope you are well. Thank you very much indeed for joining our Premier League roundup show. It is just me and Josh. Tonight we have solved the technical issues. It's just Josh had to go through makeup again because we had a few issues there. But we are here. Good evening to everybody. Josh's granddad was in nice. And are you happy about Moisey being offered a new contract? Well, that is a debate for another day. I'm not entirely convinced at this current moment in time. PGADs, I'm an IT as Josh tries to turn it off and back on again. See, we've got the skills, we're young, we've got the technological ability that some people just, differ lacking. But anyway, we'll start off. Feels like a million miles ago, Josh, but up at Old Trafford, it was all going well. And then it all fell apart. What happened? Manchester United 3, Aston Villa 2. A second half comeback led by Alejandro Garnacho resulted in Aston Villa going back down south with nothing.
Yeah, it's just the most Villa thing to do ever, really, isn't it? All the stats before the game. United haven't scored in 4 games. This is the worst run of form since 1950s or all this. Hoyland's never scored in his life. It was all just set up to happen, to be honest. But when you're 2-0 up like that, first half, you get to half time, you're in cruise control, you just think, surely not. That they never had a sniff, really. We were just in complete control. They never looked like scoring, never really had any chances. We were just in complete control, and then Clement Lenglet and Leandro Dendoncker combined for our second goal as well. Two players who played something like 90 minutes of Premier League football combined this year. So you think surely we can't blow up from here. But no, it's that second half performance was probably the worst I've seen in Emery, to be honest. And it's just really frustrating. United haven't been that great all season, really. They were very good second half, but we were just horrendous, really. And I don't think we've been the same since the Man City game, to be honest, when we did play very, very well in that one, obviously. But I just think so much went into that. I just don't really think we've recovered since. I think Arsenal, to be honest, we were quite lucky in that one to win. They are probably the better chances. Brentford as well. If they never went down to 10 men, I don't think we looked like scoring. We probably would have lost that one. And then the Sheffield United game as well on the Friday was just, again, another typical Villa thing. We all thought we were going to go top, and just to blow that one as well.
I think that was probably the added pressure, because on that game you're playing the team at the bottom of the league, you win, you go top of the Premier League, and you get that added extra pressure. And I sat at half time and went, yeah, they're going to win this easy. And yeah, I'd have to agree. Villa came out second half, and I thought they were extremely poor, just like Lustre, and there wasn't really just any flow in the side. When I saw Dendoncker in the side, I don't watch Villa every week, but I was pretty convinced that he's genuinely every week not involved in the first team. So there was a couple of changes that were perhaps enforced, and I think maybe it was the best of the best after those 3 days where you beat Arsenal and Man City, and you've just struggled to keep it at that level, Josh.
Yeah, and I think as soon as Kamara got sent off against Brentford as well, I think we're always going to miss him. Our record without him since he's been signed is really poor. He's a bit like our Rodri, if you like, sort of thing. We just never really seem to play as well without him. So I think that's a big miss, especially when Dendoncker has to come in. Due to I thought had a very good first half, but then second half he just he was at fault for one of the goals. Sort of turned his back on it, almost like he would run away from the shot. And with the size of him, you wouldn't think he'd be scared of it. But it was really frustrating, to be honest. But it's just a typical Villa thing to do. Head of the Sheffield United game, we were just saying, people were saying, "Oh, this would be a Villa thing to do to cock this up." But I just thought, no, we won't do it this time. We've got rid of all them cases now. But no, it's just that thankfully we don't get skitted for it as bad as other teams do, like Spurs, because we've had quite a few dodgy ones over the years where you thought surely not, but we have. But anyway, as you said, if you would have told me after that 5-1 Newcastle result first day of the season, we'd be in third at Christmas, I'd have definitely laughed. So I'm not too.
A sensational year, I think, to round off for Aston Villa. And, I think, I speak for probably the other 14 clubs in this league, as I hope you stay up there and you push them as much as possible. If you don't win the league, I hope Man City do, not Liverpool or Arsenal, to be honest with you, because I can't stand them both. But listen, keep doing it, and just have a little look behind. The Hammers aren't too far behind you now. There's a huge gap that was developing, but we managed to slash it down. There's now 5-6 points between the sides. Just go careful, Josh. Just go careful. Right, let's take some comments. Corey, a Man United fan. Ten Hag needs to go awful manager. Lost in the Champions League group and on a minus goal difference in the league. Managed to turn it around. I mean, I think they showed character, which I didn't think they had in on that Man United side. I think they are incredibly spineless and toothless. But they did, manage to turn it around, which did surprise me, to be honest. Lucas, thank you very much indeed for joining us as well. West Ham are massive, but Villa not this week. P. Gaz on a nightmare. He captain Watkins, FPL. Oh dearie me. Lawrence, I hope you're well. I like Josh's new top. I wonder which team he supports. Yeah, it's not quite giving it away, is it? A bit like mine, Mine's not quite giving it away either, is it? Let's move on. This is a shortened Premier League roundup show tonight. We're not going to go through all 10 games of the festive fixture schedule, but next we're going to go to a game that I predicted 0-0. And how wrong was I? Up at Bramall Lane. Felt like a decisive game for both Chris Wilder and Rob Edwards, and it was Sheffield United 2, Luton 3. A couple of own goals towards the back end of the game gave Luton all 3 points, so probably some confidence going in to a game against Chelsea, bottom half Chelsea, may I add, tomorrow, Josh.
Yeah, well, I certainly didn't expect this. I probably would have went 1-0 either way. But wow, what a game! It's just a bit mental, really. 2 own goals at the end as well, I believe. Sheffield United, Luton took the lead early on. I think it was Alfie Doughty, and they managed to come back in and just concede 2 late goals. I think it was the last 10 minutes, 2 own goals. That must have been a killer, really. And I did think Sheffield United had a good chance because they did play very well against us. They set up very well. They come with a game plan, and they looked fairly dangerous when they did get the breakaway second half. So I thought this would definitely be a good chance, and if they won that, you never know, they might even have a chance of staying up, which no one's really given them this season. So to lose it like that with 2 own goals at the end is just a killer, really. As for Luton, I think they've actually been doing quite well recently, on really good form. I think they're only a point from safety, if I'm correct. And even if it weren't for Everton's points deduction, I think they're only a couple of points off Crystal Palace too. So to be fair, I think that in the summer, if you would have said who would be the most competitive out of newly promoted teams, I think Luton would have been the least everyone said. Probably Burnley and Sheffield United would have been backed more by most people than them. So fair play to them. They're definitely competing. And I say every week now, I think they're giving themselves a good chance. I do still think they'll go down, but they've got a play style that are hard to beat, and I think they've definitely got a good chance of staying up. Crystal Palace aren't going anywhere very quickly, and don't think they haven't won a game in about 8, something like that. And a couple of draws, and that's about it really. I think Hodgson's really under pressure now. So yeah, they've got a good chance, Luton, but I think if you can't beat them at home, Sheffield United, I just think what chance have they got, really? I know I've given Luton credit, but if you want to stay in the league, them type of home games are the ones you've got to be competing in. And although they got unlucky, it's looking bleak for them now, unfortunately.
It certainly is. When you look at the Premier League table now, if all of a sudden, if Luton can pick something up against Chelsea, 10th. Oh, sorry, they're up into 10th now, Chelsea, so they're in the top half. Bless them. All of a sudden, if they can pick something up there, I'm going to temporarily remove Everton from the situation. Look at Forest; they're just 2 points ahead of Luton, and Luton have got a game in hand on all of the sides involved there. Even Brentford are slipping down into it; they're into 14th now. We're going to come on to Brentford a little bit later on. That's a developing issue for the Bees, but I don't know, Luton, if they just keep pulling out results, and it's a game where if they want to stay up, they simply have to pick up points in this game. And I'm not sure. They just might have it in them. I've got a feeling out of the 3 sides, if any of them are going to put up a resolute fight, I think it's going to be Luton. But I think that's just down to their home form. And if they can make Kenilworth Road a fortress, if they can continue to pick up points there and push the big teams, then, well, you never know. You never know. And I mean, Josh, we're not forgetting that they've been incredibly unfortunate against some of the big sides at home. Yeah. Man City, they went a goal up. Tottenham, I think they were quite unlucky. The flipping Arsenal game were blooming header in the 97th minute to snatch all 3 points away. So they have been relatively unlucky in some of those games, and they could have more points on the board. The Liverpool one as well, where they looked destined to win and only picked up a point. So I think there's still hope in Luton, a glimmer, but I still think there's hope there. Mark, thank you very much indeed for joining us. They do keep conceding, but I think that's probably the expectation. But if they can keep scoring, then who knows? Who knows? Let's go up to Tyneside. Newcastle 1, Nottingham Forest 3. This was a bizarre game, a really, really bizarre game. I tell you what, there was one person on Twitter who betted on a Chris Wood hat trick at 90-1, who had a pretty good Boxing Day. A 12:30 game on Boxing Day. Newcastle haven't seemed to have clicked in recent weeks, and Nottingham Forest just came out of nowhere, Josh.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to that Chris Wood. I did watch this game. He seemed to just turn into Pele that second half. You know, he was usually just big target man. He'll get the odd header for you, but no, he seemed to turn into Pele. As I say,
I don't even think out of the 3, one of them was a header. I think he scored all 3 with his feet.
No, I think one he completely dazzled Dan Burn. The other one he went round the keeper and put it in.
Yeah.
And the first one I think was just a tap in. Yeah, he sits Dan Burn down and then scores for the second one. Then the last one was round the keeper. So yeah, unbelievable really. Newcastle 1-0 up at half time. Looked pretty comfortable. I think it was 1-1 actually, but still you probably back them to win. But no, they looked very dangerous every time they come forward. Forest, Newcastle had all the ball as you'd expect, but they looked very dangerous on the break. Forest, they always look like that ball over the top to Wood, who again, it isn't usually the striker you play balls in behind to or over the top to, but they did and it worked for them. Newcastle, I think in the form tables, Newcastle are in the bottom 3 the last 5 or 6 games, and they've got something like, is it 4 points, something like that. And also the away form, I think they've got 4 points all season, even though they're at home. And that's just another worry for them. I think they've got 4 points away from home all season, which isn't great for them. Obviously, they've had massive trouble with injuries, but the last month has been really poor for them. But I still think they'll have enough quality in this team to, especially with no Europe now because they went up to Champions League the other week. I think they'll have enough quality to definitely stay in that top 6 for the rest of the season. But as for Forest, again, new manager, they got unlucky at the weekend before against Bournemouth with the red card. I haven't seen it, but I believe they appealed and it should never have been a sending off. So, yeah, I thought it was harsh on Cooper to sack him because of what he's done for the club. But no, definitely got a bit of a bounce now. They should be more than fine, really. If you look at the squad and the amount of money they spent and how many players they've signed, they should have more than enough, really. But you just never know, as we've just talked about. You've got teams like Luton, Everton should be more than fine, so you just don't know. But yeah, what a game for Chris Wood.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. And whether it's Nottingham Forest, how long this new manager bounce lasts for them, and you could sort of bring Everton into this as well. I haven't wrote them down as a key game to discuss, but you could just mention it because your granddad's watching, Josh. Of course, Everton 1, Man City 3, I think it was. Obviously, after the champions returned from being crowned champions of the world, which was quite good. I smiled at that. We've got a bit of an association of 2 clubs. We sort of do ourselves favours. We did you a favour in a title race, Josh, so really you should be thanking me. Should be the first thing you're saying. But no, Forest won, Everton lost, but probably an expected defeat. I mean, if they'd have picked something up against City, that would have been absolutely brilliant. But I think both sides have got enough there, haven't they?
Yeah. Are we on about Everton now? Are we?
Yeah.
I thought they were really unlucky actually. First off, they looked the better team. They were forcing mistakes. The press was really good, and City just couldn't deal with it really. A bit like when we played them the other week. They just couldn't deal with the press. I think about Ruben Diaz in there, and I think they got rid of it. Aymeric Laporte in the summer, who's also really good on the ball. Players like Ake, Akanji, Stones, they've got like tendencies just to make mistakes when you press them, and I do think City can be got at this season. And Everton, they did do that, and they got the nose in front at half time, 1-0 half time. And then second half, it was just a shot from Phil Foden outside the box, which gives City all the momentum then to go on and win it. I think if that shot doesn't go in from outside the box, which 9 times out of 10 they don't, I think it's a different game. They didn't really look like scoring until then. Everton would still have the tails up, and they could even go on to get second. As for the penalty, it was harsh because he couldn't really go the way, but you usually see them given in the modern game now.
Who knows, Josh? Who knows?
Yeah, I suppose you can't really complain too much with that one. Then as soon as they go behind it, really, they're never going to come back. But they definitely give it a good go. And if they keep like, they were unlucky at the weekend as well against Spurs, very unlucky.
Yeah.
And they absolutely battered them from what I've heard in that game, with a dodgy disallowed goal again as well. So they'll have more than enough. Everton, they have 4 wins on the bounce before these 2 tough games. I think they've got Wolves away at the weekend, which I'll probably back them to win, even though Wolves are also on good form. But it looks like a proper Sean Dyche team now. Everyone's working hard. The press is really good. Whereas, like at the start of the season, they look unorganised, which you've never seen a Dyche team. But they look really organised now. They're pressing well. The football's never going to be pretty to watch, but I think if it gets results, they don't care, and they'd be top half if it wasn't for this point deduction.
It's crazy, isn't it? When you look at the Premier League table, and what it's done for them. They're currently sat on 16 points. If they wouldn't have had it, 26 points puts them above Chelsea and up into 10th, which is crazy, absolutely crazy. But right, we'll sack off the Brentford 1, Wolves 4. What we'll say is Brentford are in trouble. Wolves, they're a side. Honestly, Wolves are a side where they could be brilliant one week, crap the next, and Gary O'Neill seems to have them firing relatively well up at Molineux. We'll move on to the 2 games that were the main event of the Thursday night action. We'll start in North London, which we'll get to in just a second as the smile is coming back on to my face again. We will take some comments and see what you guys are saying. I had Wood on my bench for FPL. Oh my lord. Oh dear. That is rather unfortunate. Oh yeah, Dad had that as well. I only had Ariola on the bench. That is rather unfortunate. In terms of the Forest result, this was a big shock to me. I was hoping Forest are going to be drawn into the relegation fight. It just depends on that sort of new manager bounce last for Nuno Espirito Santo there, and whether he can really rally the troops on to the end of the season. I'm not sure. I am not too sure. Yeah, I mean, they are the champions of the world, Man City, but it is a bit of a silly tournament, isn't it? I don't particularly agree with when it's done and how it's done, but it is what it is. First half, the atmosphere at Goodison was fantastic, even more so when we scored second half, different game once they've been awarded the penalty. There we go. Lone Star Londoner says Gary O'Neill has performed a miracle this season. He's brilliant at Wolves, absolutely brilliant. Love Gary O'Neill. I think he's a great manager, former West Ham man as well, and hope he does well in that sense. Right, let's go to North London. Shall we? Arsenal 0, West Ham United 2. Josh, I will happily give your voice a break for a minute and discuss. Josh, you mentioned you're expecting Newcastle to go back in and sort of fight for that top 6 spaces, but I mean Moyes' troops are just firing at the moment, and we are currently occupying that 6th spot in the league, and we deserve to be there. This is our highest points tally that we've ever had at this stage of any Premier League season so far, dating back to the start of the Premier League. It's been brilliant. It's the first time that we've kept 3 clean sheets in a row in the Premier League. Beat Wolves 3-0, beat Man United 2-0, beat Arsenal 2-0. It's been brilliant. I mean, inside 5 days over the Christmas period, we've beaten Manchester United and Arsenal 2-0, which I think is a very, very impressive achievement. No matter how poor that United side can be on their day. But look, I thought we were absolutely brilliant. And when I saw that lineup, I was concerned, to say the least, with both of our starting centre halves out, and then Lucas Paquetá goes down in the warm-up with an injury. He played 30 minutes and then was hooked off. So we had 3 key players for a big proportion of that game not involved. And listen, VAR, you can say what you like, no conclusive evidence. You can say it was in, you can say it was out. Quite frankly, nobody's got a clue. The technology needs to be upgraded. There's no doubt about that. But yet again, they had to stick with the on-field decision because the referees are refereeing the game. So I didn't have any issues with the first goals sort of decision. That was good. And then Arsenal got on top without really putting too much pressure on. I mean, they had the ball. They had 73% possession. They had 27 shots on goal. But did they really threaten us apart from three occasions I can remember? You know, they probably should have done better. Saka, a couple of back passes, a Jesus header, and that was about it, really. And I mean, I think it's another prime example of possession doesn't win you football matches. They dominated possession, doing very little with it, and that suited us down to a T. And I thought we defended superbly. It was a masterclass from David Moyes. We defended really well, and we were clinical on the counter attack. We scored 1 goal from the counter attack and 1 goal from a set piece, and that's our 2 strengths. And we executed them to perfection, and we were thoroughly good value for our 3 points. You won't get many sides that will go to the Emirates this season and beat Arsenal 2-0. And I was just absolutely buzzing about it. And of course, the obvious Declan Rice factor in it as well, which just made it that bit sweeter. Josh, did you watch it?
I didn't. I've seen highlights from it. As for the first goal, people are moaning about. It does look out from a one angle, but again, it's similar to the Newcastle one, isn't it? Like if you look at it from other angles, then it does look like it's still in. So it's just one of them. And if it's not clear and obvious that the ball's out of play, then get on with it, really.
The longer it went on, the longer I was thinking they're going to give this to Arsenal here. But there was no conclusive evidence, and I agree, Josh. It's crap. It's absolutely crap, and it's unfortunate it's happened to Arsenal twice inside 60 days, 2 months, whatever it is. Of course, with the Newcastle one, but they couldn't make any other decision, really, could they?
No, if it's not clear, if you can't find anything that's clear and obvious, then that's what VAR's been brought in for. So just stick with the on-field decision. Like, I just feel like the referees don't have enough power and control in the game these days. It's almost like VAR have the ultimate decision. Like, as soon as they go to the monitor, you know what's happening. They're never going to make their own decision. I think that's happened once. The referee stuck with his original decision. They're always just going to listen to them. It's just a modern game, I suppose. But yeah.
It is what it is. Right, let's take some of your comments. This was a great result, and I really enjoyed watching the victory. I'm glad. West Ham, a massive, great performance. It most certainly was. Arteta was well and truly moised. He was. And of course, I don't know whether many of you have seen the video doing the rounds during Roberto De Zerbi's post-match press conference for the Brighton Spurs game. He had his assistant or whatever, just he asked what was the score in the Arsenal West Ham game, and he said West Ham won 2-0, and he went, oh wow, and sort of went like that, which was mildly amusing. Of course, we play Brighton next in a few days' time, and look, if we can win that game at home like we did away at the start of the season, that would be absolutely brilliant. And on top of the world at the moment, Alvarez was outstanding. They were all outstanding. They were all just second to none, and there was the fight and passion that we've required, that we missed at Liverpool away, that we missed at Fulham away, and I just hope we can gain that consistency and continue to produce that performance week in, week out. I thought it was going to be a massacre. I thought we were going to get battered after seeing that lineup, to be honest with you, but they most certainly proved me wrong. Well said, Jay, but I'm not sure the referees are refereeing the Enfield game. Well, we could talk about VAR all night. The ball was in, the ball was out. Who cares? I most certainly do. On field. There we go. Yeah. They aren't refereeing the on-field game. Oggy showed up yesterday. I was happy about that. I ate humble pie about him today as well. Angelo Bonner, I thought he was past it. He rolled back the years with a brilliant performance. Arsenal had 30 shots on goal and 8 on target, but was the keeper ever really tested? Lies. Lies. Then there are just statistics. They are just statistics. Areola made 2 good saves, comfortable saves at most, but apart from that, nothing at all. I benched Areola for Leno on my FPL, and they got did they get battered for them? Oh dear. Right, let's go on to the final game. In Sean's absence, you're going to have to talk about Spurs, Josh. Brighton 4, Spurs 2. At one point, they were 4-0 up, Brighton. The away end was emptying. I can say this now because Sean here. They were all not happy with Big Ange, and it's who we are, mate. But they're just falling short at the moment.
Yeah, there is that problem with Spurs. Like my granddad said against Everton, they always go for it, like whatever, um, and sometimes that can cost them. Brighton is similar to that, I suppose. That's why it was a high scoring game. But sometimes when you do play like that, you do just get battered. There was a couple of absolute pearlers, though. To be fair, from Brighton, that Estupinian goal, that was brilliant goal, right into the top corner for about 35 yards. Don't know what I think he must have been injured. I didn't even know he was back because he was a bargain for the FPL at the start of the season. But I'll have a look at getting him back in. But no, I think with 10 minutes to go, Spurs pulled 2 late ones back. But apart from that, by the sounds of it, they got battered. Brighton have been on a bit of a bad run of form recently, but with no Europe until, is it March or late February, something like that. I think that you probably see them move back up the table again now. They've had some tough fixtures as well, so the games will probably get nicer for them. So they'll start challenging for that top 5 or 6 again, I think. And as for Spurs, it's just, again, I think they'll probably end up about 5th or 6th again now. It's just like they always do, top after 10 games, and it always ends up like that. You can say what they want about Postecoglou, but people forget a few years ago they were top under Mourinho after 10 games in the COVID season. They come 6th, they ended up getting sacked in March, and there weren't all that hype for Mourinho, you know what I mean? So, like, I do think.
Are you implying a similar pattern, Josh?
No, I don't think it'll be that bad. I don't think it'll be that bad. They've got to give him time. But, I do get what they're saying, because the last 3 managers they've had have been, negative football managers who just play on the counter. But
nothing wrong with that, Josh. Nothing at all.
No, obviously not. But, I can see why they're enjoying it a bit more now, but you will get battered playing that way at times. It's great when it works, and you can say it about the other way around as well. Like, when you play on the counter, you can also get battered at times, if you're not clinical. But I suppose the other way is a bit more fun to play, and I suppose. But no, with no Europe, they should at least get top 5, I think. But yeah, that was a poor result for them.
It most certainly was. Everything yesterday was good, but I hope Benny doesn't take the penalties going forward. We won yesterday, so we didn't mind that loss. But what if it was our only chance? I think Ward Prowse will be now put on. Will be put on penalties, I think. I mean, it was a brilliant penalty in the final from Saïd Benrahma. I think that's probably why he was given it. But yeah, I think Ward Prowse will probably be given the penalties. What a beautiful evening. West Ham win and Spuds lose. Yeah, Big Andrew's a bit grumpy last night. He started moaning about VAR. Last month, if we backtrack, he was saying all sorts about we should just get on with it and let's not moan about the refs and all this and all that. See, they're backtracking. They're all this massive team spirit. It's amazing at Spurs, and half the away end was empty by the time they scored 2 goals. I mean, they were all halfway back to London. Not good. Not good. Spursy being Spurs. What a surprise. There we go. See, this lad Josh don't half know his football. Well, get at me as well. I'm only joking. See, compliments galore, Josh. Don't blush. Mike, thank you very much indeed for joining us as well. We are going to wrap things up there a bit shorter this week. Honestly, the football does not stop coming. Josh, did you have a good Christmas?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. The football sort of ruined it a bit. Football going top, but I can't complain too much. Fair in the league.
Can't complain too much. And have you now got plenty of chocolate?
Yeah, got quite a bit of it halfway through them.
Halfway through? What, 4 days after? That's criminal. No, you do that. No, Josh, thank you very much indeed for joining me. I will see you in the new year.
Yeah. When's the next games at the weekend, is it?
Yeah. So we're playing Tuesday night, like the following Tuesday. God knows why, but the last game of the weekend on a Tuesday. Just all the fixtures and everything is just completely up in arms at the moment. Because Josh, do you know what day it is? Like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. What day is it today?
Friday, isn't it? I think.
Oh, that was said with some hesitation. You are correct. See, you're just about out of Christmas mode. I like it. Josh, thank you very much. Come on, your lines from me. Up the video from Josh. Thanks for watching. And we will see you soon right here on West Ham Official. Thank you very much. Villa are going to win the league. West Ham aren't far behind them. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.